disappointed. First of all, I want to thank all of the witnesses today for both your service and for your important testimony today. I think I'm going to start with Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Perron. I have spent time at the Pepper Pot and really enjoyed it and really felt the energy there that was supportive and created a safe space. So I just want to acknowledge that. One of the things when I think of transition, though, and you mentioned it in your testimony, is that there is a standardization of care that both VAC and CAF really like to work in. And I understand that, but of course what it often means is one size fits all, and we know that is completely not true as it is, but it makes it a lot more awkward for different communities that may be part of the military, and of course for women, the 2S LGBT community, and for the BIPOC communities. So I'm just wondering, you talked about those spaces, those forums where people could come together. Do you think that how do you think in terms of looking at transition, both CAF and VAC could start to explore how to broaden that standardization in a way that would be more inclusive and perhaps lead to better outcomes?
That's an excellent question. I'm not sure I have all the answers, but I will tell you this. First of all, the OSIS group, they do amazing things. They get groups together. They create a safe place for them to tell their stories. It's not always safe for everybody. And so the only solution to that is either to have specific groups for those who don't fit the traditional white male heterosexual model, or to have them maybe even nationally, bring them together on a national level if there's not enough in one community to have them. Now, I know that's costly. I know that can be quite complicated to do, but if you're going to give them an opportunity to share their stories, it has to be a safe space.
Well, thank you for that. And I would like to follow up with Lieutenant Commander Retired Park. I really appreciated what you said about having a national action plan and really working with the nonprofit sector. I know as a person that worked in the nonprofit sector for many years, often when I would look at government policy, it was very clear to me that they weren't actually speaking to people on the ground delivering the services. And it was incredibly frustrating at times. So I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you see, what your vision is for a national action plan, and how do you see the nonprofit sector being recognized in relationship with how government services work to maybe make some really profound changes in terms of transitioning?
At the federal level, it isn't, the nonprofit sector is not, the funding isn't there. The funding goes really from the province. And so there is a difficulty with the federal government in this space, because principally the funding does come from provincial ministries. So that does make it different. What we do see in the nonprofit sector, which is very agile and nimble because you have very little money to work with, is the creation of the national bodies that, such as the United Way, the Community Foundations of Canada, the Canadian Red Cross. There are national level entities. And these, when I speak with the representatives of these national bodies, they aren't involved in veteran issues. They will say, oh, well, that's Veterans Affairs. And the funding is Veterans Affairs. You apply for Ontario Trillium Foundation, et cetera. It doesn't happen because the disconnect is that, oh, well, military veterans are going to be taken care of by Veterans Affairs. No, that is not the case. Veterans Affairs, that's not the job of Veterans Affairs. And so there is this emptiness of, well, who is going to be creating these community solutions when it is not the job of Veterans Affairs. It's happening at the provincial level. So when I think of a national action plan, I think of bringing the national leadership that is at the United Way, at the Community Foundations of Canada, and these already organized structures, and the power of philanthropy to the table, to not have Veterans Affairs, as I say, being the decision maker, but rather this is a community solution. This is this is a Canadian solution that will hit at the local level. I'll give you the example. Am I running over? I'm sorry, sir.
You've got 30 seconds.
I've got 30 seconds. Right now, and I mentioned it earlier last April, the issue around disasters, nature-triggered climate change disasters that are impacting so many more communities now. Where are the veterans? Where are the veterans? They are not in the mix. We have Team Rubicon, and it has 3,000 volunteers. We're talking something much bigger. And that mobilizing, which Minister Sajan is talking about a civilian corps, where are the veterans? And so this would be the national plan that would take these imperatives, these national urgencies. And I can, as I said, I've been presenting on this with other examples.